Now that you have her attention, how do you keep the conversation going? A lot of guys run out of things to say. That's one of the biggest complaints in terms of pickup that we get. Guys are always like, I don't know what to say next. I can't think of anything. So here are some ways you can keep the conversation going.
One of the best things that I like to do is to substitute questions with statements. And don't do this all the time, but mix and match. You don't want to be getting into interview mode where you're like, where did you grow up? What's your favorite ice cream? What's this? Where's that? What's this? Like, it seriously feels like you're interviewing her for a job. You don't want to do that. Let me ask you this. What's more interesting? You asking a girl, what do you do? Or saying, you look like you're a doctor of some sort.
And no matter what she says, it's still more interesting than if you had just asked her, what do you do? Because most people don't guess what someone else does for a living. They'll ask the question. So when you do that, you're basically separating yourself from everyone out there.
And the thing is, you still get the same answer at the end of the day, because she's going to say something like, no, I'm not a doctor, I'm an accountant. So you're still kind of...
And she might even ask you, like, what made you think I'm a doctor?
Yeah, and now you have the conversation, you know? So you're basically asking the question still by just saying a statement. That makes it so much more interesting. Another really big concept that we like to tell guys is to use the us mentality. That means, again, staying away from that interview mode, but you know, you don't want to be going back and forth, only talk about her, then only talk about yourself. Instead, use the us mentality and talk about the both of you. A really great example of this is in the us mentality episode in chapter 2, where Jason talks to a girl and he pretty much creates like a bubble around them. And it's almost like you're putting them in the mindset of, hey, it's me and you, girl, against the world.
So, when we move in together, we're gonna have a big dog?
Okay.
All right, what kind of dog though?
It doesn't matter. I love dogs.
You're like, me and you, we're gonna have an acting career together.
Okay.
All right.
So you like acting?
It's fun. I've never done it before, never taken any classes, but we're gonna do a scene right now.
No!
Are you ready?
No, we've only been dating for like 10 minutes.
It's been at least 13.
No.
This is crazy. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not gonna make out with you right now. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna make out with you right now. Not in front of all these people.
No.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm too bashful for this. I'm too bashful. Stop it. Quit it. I'm not gonna make out with you in front of these people, okay?
No.
Okay? Stop.
A really great way to use the us mentality is to role play. And a role play is basically you creating this fictional environment with a girl where you guys are on this journey together.
A lot of people, when they think role play, they think dressing up in costumes and pretending you're like doing something. And it's kind of like that actually, except this is more of a verbal role play. Obviously, you can't get dressed up in costumes talking to a girl on the street, but you can verbally say things that kind of put her in the same mindset. And this takes her, again, out of the world she's in and into this new world that you've created. And you're saying, hey, me and you are doing this thing in this crazy world that I just made up. So here are some examples of role-playing that you're going to see in the future chapters of Project Go.
I live on 20th Street.
So you know what? You should be my tour guide and just tell me the best places to go.
Yeah, I mean...
You can sit on my car dashboard and be my GPS.
Right.
So instead of just having something stuck onto my window, I'll have a girl sitting. We'd be such a horrible team together because you suck at directions, I suck at driving. So it's.
I'm good at driving.
I'm really good with directions when I have my phone.
Okay, so how about I drive, you GPS.
Okay.
And we're good.
That is a deal. Where should we go?
I don't know.
We just went over a few of the many, many ways that you can carry on a conversation, and that should be enough to get you started. But one really big thing about conversations that I want to bring up here that's super important is what we call the magic moment. And this is really where you connect with a girl. The magic moment is that moment in an interaction where something clicks inside a girl's mind and she thinks to herself, I really like this guy, or I really connect with this guy. A lot of times it's a common interest that you guys have. Let's say you both like playing video games, or you both really like movies. You're into, I don't know, romantic comedies, whatever your thing is, right? you talk about these things, and that's why it's important to be polarizing. You talk about these things that you really like, and she starts talking about it, and you go, whoa, there's a connection right there. And that's the magic moment. But a lot of guys, they find this magic moment, they go, okay, we have something in common, and they don't know what to do with this moment. So what you have to do is build around this moment. You have to ask yourself, if she likes this, what else does she like? Because you can generalize. When you first approach a girl, you're in the dark about who she is, what she likes. You can kind of stereotype based on the way she dresses, maybe based on the way she talks, but you're still kind of in the dark about that. Once you know an interest of hers, though, you start finding things that are also related to that interest that you're interested in too. An example of this is when I talked to a girl and I found out that she played RuneScape, which is a super nerdy game. And later on, we started talking about like StarCraft and other nerdy things. And all of a sudden, from this magic moment, it became like a huge magic moment. And that's really the point of the interaction, where she went from, I kind of like this guy, to, I want to go home with this guy. And I actually took her home that night back to her hotel room.
All right.
Yeah, I used to play video games a lot.
Oh, really? Me too.
Shut up. What kind? What video games you play?
No, you better not make fun of me.
You better not make fun of me.
Okay, well, me and my brother used to play this game called RuneScape.
Oh, I know RuneScape.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Oh, I feel like an idiot. I was so addicted to it.
I used to play that shit too. And then you would mine for gold and just sit there for like 5 hours while your dude mines for gold. That's the worst fucking game in the world. But at the same time, it was so addicting. This is probably the most nerdiest conversation I've ever
I wasn't expecting to have this conversation in Vegas
I've ever partaken in. Not just in Vegas, okay, in life.
Wait a minute, hold on.
All right, left to right, left to right.
Right here, this room. Dude. My God, here we get to go.
So as you can see, the magic moment is so powerful, and it's such a complex concept that I'm simplifying right now. But if you want to know more, we have a whole hour-long podcast. I think it's more than an hour, but a whole podcast on it that goes into detail about what it is, how you can amplify it in the God Mode pack. So go check that out when you can.